Good evening. I'm Maria Gomez, President of AIA Dallas, and on behalf of the Board of Directors and Design Awards Committee, I would like to welcome you to the 2020 Built Design Awards announcement celebration, presented by Risk Strategies. It's wonderful to see so many of our members, supporters, friends joining us virtually this evening. AIA Dallas is the voice of architects in our community, and through inspired design, our members make life better in Dallas and beyond. While our event format has shifted due to health precautions, Dallas architects responded in full force to our build call for entries, besting last year's numbers with 72 entries. We really look forward to honoring the architects, clients, and consultants who work together to achieve design excellence and sharing a toast with you all. Before we get started, though, with tonight's honors, I want to recognize and thank those who have made this evening possible, our supporters and sponsors. Special thanks go to our presenting sponsor and great partner to AIA Dallas, Risk Strategies. I would like to turn the program over to Cameron Brown for a few remarks.
Hello. Have you or a loved one been nominated for or will possibly be the recipient of one of the Built Design Awards this evening? Are you experiencing symptoms that may include excitement, gratitude, or the urge to say, "Booyah"? If so, then call me, Cameron Brown, and the insurance agents at Risk Strategies. As a proud sponsor and partner with the best AIA chapter in the nation, we're going to fight tooth and nail to congratulate everyone for their amazing jobs and the contributions they've made to our local communities. Your hard work and dedication deserves all the high fives you can get, and I won't settle for anything less. So remember, the agents at Risk Strategies have your back. And again, congratulations.
Thank you, Cameron. We really appreciate your ongoing partnership with AIA Dallas and everything you do for us. Tonight's Built event sponsor is JHP Architecture. We really appreciate your contributions. Thank you for making this evening possible. In addition, our 2020 Design Award sponsors are award sponsor Charles Davis Smith, FAIA, Unbuilt sponsor Vitro Architectural Glass, exhibition sponsors ALA and Hosley Lighting and Power Solutions. And contributing sponsors, Acme Brick, the Beck Group, and LAFees Partners, Inc. We truly thank all our sponsors for their support and for making this celebration and awards program absolutely possible. Fall is always an exciting season at AIA Dallas and quite busy for staff. And we wanted to let you know about a few upcoming opportunities. Our annual Ken Roberts Memorial Delineation is open for entries through Thursday, October the 22nd. And it's a major point of pride for the chapter that our own K-Rob is the most senior architectural drawing competition currently in operation anywhere in the world. Just let that sink in for a minute. Anywhere in the world. So really, we hope to see a large local showing. Details are at krobarc.com. Additionally, please save the date for our first ever virtual AIA Dallas Tour of Homes, October 24 and 25. This year's citywide digital showcases 6 Dallas homes with plans and models and videos and 360-degree virtual walkthroughs. Additionally, live virtual tours led by architects are scheduled throughout the weekend with opportunities for Q&A. And if you need to learn anything more about this, go to hometourdallas.com. While we wish we could be meeting with all of you in person in our great city of Dallas, our planning committee has been working hard in partnership with the Texas Society of Architects to create an epic conference. And let me stress the word epic. The conference will take place October 28 through 30, including outstanding CE sessions, informative keynote presentations, 9 interactive tours, networking opportunities, and access to a sponsor showcase. Details and registration are available at conference.texasarchitects.org. As we continue building the success and impact of our Design Awards program, I would like to share a few of the ways that the chapter showcases the awards entries as a resource for future promotion and publication opportunities, which is so important. In addition to sharing all entries with the press, who have source stories from past entries, AIA Dallas Columns Magazine Committee regularly reviews our award entries when planning features for upcoming issues. Additionally, Built Design Awards entries are the first place we look for new tour destinations to inspire our colleagues. By participating in this awards program, architects of the 72 submitted projects have countless opportunities to share their design story. This year, People's Choice voting is only open to those who attend tonight's event. Throughout the evening, you will be able to vote with a link that is provided in the comments. The voting closes 10 minutes before the program is scheduled to end, which is 5:50 p.m. And the winner will be announced tonight. I commend the AIA Dallas Design Awards Committee for their innovative ideas that are furthering the dialogue on design and showcasing Dallas's design legacy. At this time, I'd like to recognize 2020 Design Awards Committee Chair, Kay Lee, AIA.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2020 AIA Dallas Built Design Award. My name is Kay Lee, Chair of the Design Award Committee this year. We are also with Vice Chair Wendell Daniel. This evening, we are going to celebrate design excellence and also honor our architects, clients, and consultants who work together here in Dallas community and also all around the world. I'm excited to announce we have total 72 built entries this year. It seems we have a good number, even though we are in an extremely difficult time with this pandemic situation. We wish we could be welcoming you in person, but we still want to encourage you to engage with a moderator and other attendees via the chatting box, especially by submitting your question in the Q&A box. We will try to engage with you all as much as possible. You have 3 excellent jurors and a moderator for this event. First, let me introduce our moderator, Rebecca Bowles. Rebecca Bowles joined the UT Arlington Interior Design program in 1998 having previously taught at Texas Christian University, Carnegie Mellon University, and New Jersey Institute of Technology. She currently serves as Assistant Dean in the College of Architecture, Planning, and Public Affairs. A registered architect and interior designer, she worked for Bolin, Zywinski Jackson, KPF Interiors, Kasuda and Associate, and Morrison Safer prior to joining the School of Architecture at UTA. Rebecca is a past officer and executive board member of AIA Fort Worth and served as education member director to the Texas Society of Architects. Welcome, Rebecca, and please enjoy this evening, everyone. Thank you.
Moderator position, and then the presidential debates started, and I realized what maybe a dubious and possibly dangerous position being a moderator is, but nevertheless, we'll forge ahead. And the first order of business for tonight will be the Critics' Choice Award. The Critics' Choice Award was established by the design committee. They sent all 72 entries to selected prominent architecture critics to review and select a single entry for recognition. The critics this year included Inga Saffron. She's the architecture critic at the Philadelphia Inquirer, and Belinda Tato. She is the co-founder of Ecosistema Urbano in Madrid, and also editor of the publication Bracket Take Action. And the coincidence here is that independently, these two critics chose the same project, which is the Pitman Hotel by Perkins and Will. And I want to read some of their comments that they returned. Inga Saffron writes of this project: thoughtfully inserted into the urban fabric, this addition to a historic building manages to be both deferential and bold. The transition from the old and the new is aided by smart material choices and layers of texture. In a category where many of the projects are sleek attention getters, this more subdued and urban project stood out. And the second quote is from Belinda Tato, and her comments are: I appreciate the valorization of the existing building and the integration and dialogue created between the existing and the new intervention. I also like it is an urban intervention with an impact in the city and surrounding communities versus other interventions which do not contribute to urban life. Architecture has the power to transform cities and citizens' life, and I see this one as an example of it. So congratulations to Perkins and Will as the unanimous Critics Award selection. And next, it's my honor to introduce the three jurors that participated in the review of these projects. First, I'm going to read their bios, and then they'll have an opportunity to talk a little bit about their practice and design philosophy. The first juror is Chris-AnnMarie Spencer, AIA. She's a project architect at Wheeler Kearns Architects, and she unfortunately is not able to join us tonight, but let me read her bio. Chris-AnnMarie, Jamaican by birth, received a Bachelor of Arts in Architectural Studies from the Caribbean School of Architecture at the University of Technology before attending graduate school at the University of Illinois at Chicago. Her outstanding work and leadership in the profession has been recognized with many prestigious awards, including the 2015 Chicago Dubin Family Young Architect Award and the 2017 AIA National Young Architect Award. In 2019, Chris-AnnMarie was among 40 accomplished and diverse individuals nominated as a 2019 Leadership Greater Chicago Fellow, joining a legacy of building and strengthening the pipeline of civic leaders who will influence the future of Chicago. Chris has worked on numerous award-winning projects, including Chicago's Region First High School designed specifically for students with learning differences, Walcott School, and Inspiration Kitchen's Garfield Park, which received the National Rudy Bruner Gold Medal Award for Urban Excellence. Chris is an active participant in the architecture community and serves on the board of AIA Chicago Foundation, where she recently helped establish the Diversity Scholarships Program. The next, I want to introduce Wendell Burnett, AIA, Principal of Wendell Burnett Architects. Educated in the practice of architecture through 34 years of direct experience spanning a wide range of public and private work, Mr. Burnett's self-taught curriculum includes a 3-year period at the Frank Lloyd Wright School of Architecture. Burnett's 11-year association with the studio of William Bruder culminated in a 6-year design collaboration on the New Phoenix Central Library as co-designer, project architect, and field architect. He founded the studio of Wendell Burnett Architects in 1996. He is also a professor of practice at the design school at Arizona State University, where he's been teaching since 2000. Burnett has traveled widely in Asia, Europe, Africa, and the Americas to assimilate a world perspective of architecture. In the United States and specifically in the American deserts, he's absorbed a unique regional understanding of place. This work has been presented in over 150 publications worldwide. Burnett's architecture has received local and national awards, and due to this recognition, continues to be invited as a guest lecturer, teacher, and critic at universities and AIA events across North America. So Wendell, would you like to give some comments about your practice?
It's an honor to be invited to be one of the jury members for Dallas AIA. I'm speaking to you from my studio in Phoenix, Arizona. And I guess the only thing I would add is that, you know, our practice is focused on producing work that is resonant with people, program, and place. And I would additionally add that I think what inspires us is to always do work that is simultaneously functional and poetic. So we have a global practice. We have works locally, nationally, internationally, and we collaborate as we need. We run a small practice of 6 to 8 people, but we collaborate with other firms as needed, and have work currently across the world. Thank you.
Thanks. And our third juror is Gabriel Smith, FAIA. He's a director at Thomas Phifer Partners in New York City, where he's driven the design of complex projects in the public realm for arts, education, commercial, and government clients. His works have earned 20 American Institute of Architects Design Awards, and he was elected to the AIA College of Fellows in 2015 for his contributions as a designer. His recent projects include the Glenstone Museum, the Museum of Modern Art Warsaw, a tower in Bogota, Colombia, and a resilience project in Lower Manhattan. Gabriel is a lead AP with experience on net zero, LEED Platinum, and sustainable site projects. Each investigation, regardless of scale, begins by embracing constraints, material limits, building program, and topography. Starting with limits demands the discovery of the extraordinary in the ordinary. Gabriel holds degrees in architecture from Tulane and Harvard University, and over the last 5 years, he has been a visiting studio instructor at Cornell University. Gabriel, would you like to give some comments on your practice as well?
Still getting used to the Zoom stuff after 6 months. Thank you to AIA Dallas and to everyone involved in this, especially those folks who organized it. It's never easy to pull this off. It's especially challenging online. And I just want to say on behalf of Thomas Phifer and our entire office, it's an honor to be here with you guys. And we were very impressed by the volume and quality of the work we saw. So thank you very much.
Okay, and with that, I think we can proceed with the presentation of awards. How this will be is we'll introduce each award winner, and then either Wendell or Gabriel will have an opportunity to speak to the project and the reasons why it was selected. So the first honor award goes to 2000 Ross by HKS Inc.
So I guess I'll say a few things. Congratulations. We wanted to recognize this project as we felt it was an elegant reinvention of the Sunbelt City parking garage into something more than just another city block parking island, but instead a new connector and a future platform. A base for interaction and walking about the city. We weren't maybe sure that it's art, but we're positive it is good building. So congratulations.
Okay. The next project that we have is Three Edge Residence by Far and Dang.
So this was an amazing project. I think the whole jury was unanimous from the start in selecting this project. It has a big feel for a small house. It overcame and capitalized on its site and lot challenges, which were numerous. To start with, it's a triangle, which is really, really challenging. And so we really appreciated how it capitalized on that. And then finally, the subtle massing moves demonstrated a depth of ability to kind of synthesize plan and section together. The material choice for the project was also impressive to us because it kind of rode this fine line between a highly contemporary expression and a contextual kind of response that made perfect sense. So we want to congratulate this team for really working out on this project. Job well done.
The next honor award goes to Baylor Scott and White Health Administrative Center by Perkins and Will.
I'd like to just commend again the design team for the clarity of the response to this project. I think all of us felt the same way, that it was a diagrammatically clear and architecturally rigorous response to climate in sight. And the thing that impressed all of us is that the idea for the project of literally elevating the program created this kind of community space that and a kind of welcoming presence that really connected this project with people and with place. So congratulations to this design team. I think we were all very, very impressed with this.
Next, we have Estadio Borregas by Beck Architecture.
So I'll speak to this, I guess. We love the idea of honoring a college football stadium. We felt, especially for a Texas firm, we felt, you know, it was a really thoughtful urban design and architecture solution for this Latin university who's had college football since 1945. It opens up the campus for future expansion due to a reconfiguration of this site into a sunken stadium that preserves the street and the game connection to the spectacular mountains above Monterey. I think we particularly loved the kind of hyper horizontality of the project, the broad horizontal shade above street, the extension of the street into a concourse level that loops entirely around, and then this kind of strong horizontal frame of the sunken gridiron for spectators and teams to be immersed in the game. Anyway, again, congratulations.
The next honor award up is Pacific Plaza Pavilion by HKS Inc.
Chris was actually really driving the comments here, and I want to just kind of paraphrase from her notes on this. You know, the project was a real pleasure to review, and I think we all agreed almost instantly that the quality of it and the way in which it created a community gathering space was kind of universally agreed upon. The care that was taken in the design of the structure, not just from below, but from above, impressed us in the way that it created this kind of iconic gathering space tied to the history of Pacific Avenue through the use of the Morse code patterning. And I would add that we were also impressed by the restraint of that patterning, that it had not only a kind of purpose and meaning, but it was done with really a kind of careful restraint. Impressed us. So we really appreciate the attention to detail. Congratulations to the team.
The next project award goes to Pitman Hotel by Perkins and Will.
So Gabe, do we want to paraphrase a little bit from Chris's comments, or?
Yeah, I think you can take it, Wendell, if you don't mind. Sure.
Okay. Well, it's interesting that this also got the critic award from two separate jurors. I was aware of this project a bit, or aware of this building, and that it wanted to be saved from, I don't know, several decades ago when I was first in the Deep Ellum district. And for us, what the architects put on the opening slide, which was a hinge point in time and scale, sums it up for us, I think, and that really summed up the project. Some things that impressed us, for me, instead of the new addition, which was essentially additional hotel rooms, instead of the new addition putting a death nail into the historic building, they did the opposite. They did something that assured that the historic building would remain the kind of heart and soul of this project. And they did that by the ground level of the historic building being bar and restaurant. The top floor of the building is ballroom, which is connected by a historic grand stair that connects those two public spaces, and sandwiched in between is still some historic rooms which allow connection to the tail of the project, if you will, that is extending from what remains the head of the resort is the historic building. So from a resort design standpoint, we something that we do a lot of, the idea that the head of the resort is the historic building, the addition, the extension is the rooms, and that hinge point is where there's a drop off and entry, and then we could talk about the materiality, the use of brick, the patterning of the windows. All of that is done in a very simple, straightforward way. We also love the interstitial spaces that are now created along the length of the addition with the plazas that are on the street. So a combination of indoor, outdoor spaces. And I think for us, this is not just a historic preservation, it's renovation, obviously it's addition, but it extends these stories of a building that was financed and designed by the African-American community. It was an African-American architect. So it was financed by African-Americans in the Deep Ellum district. And then famously, Ledbetter, the famous blues guitars, which is how I knew about this project. Dan Shipley was telling me the story. And so it's just great to see, very heartening to see that this building was preserved. It's given a new life, and now this kind of cumulative memory will be extended for the city of Dallas. So congratulations, a great urban project, great story.
Thank you. The next honor award goes to Cynozon by GFF.
So this was a project that was hotly debated. What I thought was very strong about this project is it's a rigorous rethink of the ubiquitous tilt-up warehouse within what I and the jury imagine were super tight budget parameters for this, what we know is a prevalent building type in Plano, Texas. And for us, proof of the axiom, architecture can happen anywhere for any growth, for any program, for any budget. And I guess we appreciated the rigor, the detailing, the working within the parameters of the project to make something new, something that for us, we would wonder driving through Plano what's going on here. So a very high level of craft and a very tight budget. Congratulations.
The next honor award goes to the University of North Texas College of Law by Stantec.
So this is, to us, was another example of a project that really was a kind of a fine example of reuse and careful restoration that preserved the history embodied in the building. And I think all of us, not maybe initially, but for sure, as the deliberations went on, we appreciated the effort and the care that went into the kind of preservation of the stories and the history of this building. So congratulations for an extraordinary work of care.
And now we will move to the Jurors Citation. And that was awarded to the 70s Modern Interior Renovation by Mccollum, architect.
So for us, I think this was a project that we, again, another one of these projects where we came upon it and we looked at it and then we came back to it and went by it again and came back. And the thing that we appreciated most about it, and the reason that we're citing the project, is it is an extremely complicated renovation project. If you look at the before and after plans, and it required a myriad of surgical interventions, and we couldn't figure out how it was phased or when it was done or how it was done. But it's the kind of project that a lot of times doesn't get recognized in these kind of juries, and we wanted to recognize the hard work. It takes everything in an architect's kit to do these kinds of projects, and often they don't get recognized because they're not so clearly new and big and bold. But we had to cite this project just because it seemed to us to be a unified and seemingly effortless result from what was clearly a very complicated project. So congratulations.
So congratulations to those award winners. And we have an opportunity now. We have some time to take some questions that you may have of the jurors. And while in waiting for those to come in, you can put them in the chat box. I just wrote down a few, wanted to sort of reflect on common or similar themes that you found in these winning entries. And some of the keywords that were kind of prevalent that I picked up on were community space, engaging the street, history and stories, craft, reuse and restoration. And I just want to get your comments on, if you felt that those were similarities, some of the similarities that ran through some of the award-winning projects.
I would say absolutely yes to that, and I would say that there were different. I think there were different levels of each of those things in the winning projects, and what I think we talked a lot about was how do you take a project, a brief, a site, material, and really try to do more with all of that than you might have been charged with, and I think those, as Wendell said, the ones that we had the most fun discussing were the ones where we couldn't decipher exactly at the beginning, what was the struggle, but we knew there was something going on there. And, so I think, yes, absolutely. Those strong projects were the ones where, one of those elements that you mentioned was something that really got taken to a higher plane.
Yeah, I would add maybe some other words are what I think we also discussed a lot are projects that took some of these programs. I would say I sit on a number of AI juries and over the decades, and there were certain building types that you don't always see, but sometimes it seems they pop up in Texas. And so like the office block, that one that the one that has the incredible kind of relentless horizontal quality that's lifted up above the ground, and it takes this, I think, 250,000 square feet of office and reconfigures it into a climatically appropriate form that creates a lot of shade. It sits up on a kind of core element. It's very generous in the shade that it provides, and there's a lot of now indoor outdoor spaces for chance meetings and for the people that are working there to have a diversity of spaces. I mean, it kind of creates a soul for a otherwise soulless, often soulless program. And in that particular case, the Baylor project, it opens onto a public park. And so it was interesting to see these programs that sometimes can be rather mundane and reinventing, rethinking what could you do with this program that in some cases are very typically Texas size and Texas type programs, and that somebody was pushing something with those projects that are coming into their firms, into their studios, into their offices. So I think that's something it's always intriguing to sit on these award juries and kind of see what different communities of architects are doing in their regions and with the programs that they're being given.
So do you, Wendell, you're talking about potentially some regional differences. I mean, can you, I mean, it's possibly overgeneralization, but can you?
Yes. I mean, it
comment on that somewhat in terms of.
Yeah, it was just, it was great to see how some of these things are being pushed differently, and maybe they're being pushed because they're often being grappled with, you know, that these are commissions that are, let's take the warehouse, you know, that usually gets no love, no care. And so I appreciated the diversity of the work that we reviewed.
So I want to, well, I guess sort of following in that same vein in terms of, do you see any themes that are maybe national or international in terms of these design award projects?
Well, I think something that's global is as far as what a lot of practices are doing more of is doing work that is resonant with people, program in place. And so even though it's local, kind of global, local, you know, it is, I think instead of, let's say, trends that are self-imposed on a project, that the projects are, the solutions are being generated from addressing the specific conditions of that project in that place. And so it's natural that, let's say, large office blocks or certain things that might be unique to Dallas and its chapter are being addressed in ways that are universal, that are what a lot of architects are doing globally. So it's not about a style; it's more about a process, about how you approach a project and how you try to understand the specificity of that project and the opportunities of doing something that is resonant with the parameters of that project and the opportunities that presents.
Yeah, I would just add to that. I think the Pacific Pavilion is a good example. This because it's an easy one to understand how the story of the place and the community building aspect of that project comes together. On first blush, it could be anywhere, but then you begin to see into it and understand its connections with the place. And I would say that the strongest projects were grappling often with a very specific regional, like climate or a story about the place. And you know, I think in moving forward, we're seeing such a kind of uniformity of work around the world that to tap in somehow and to dig out of a place its story and to try to provide for a community centered architectural expression is something we could all get better at doing. And so that project in particular was easy to point to, but there are plenty that in one way or another we're grappling with that specificity of place and people.
I think that not only locally, but if you are seeing that globally, that's a good story that people are responding to, as Wendell was saying, the program as with its specificities to the people that are using it in the place in which it is. So I think that's a positive note about these solutions that you have reviewed.
Absolutely.
This is kind of mundane, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I have sat on some of the juries for. And are there any sort of tips for people who want to pitch their projects and maybe present their projects, to success here in these design awards? Do you see any fatal flaws over and over again, or how can people strengthen their submissions?
I think overall it was very good. I mean, we always had a good text to read, which I always do, and then most of the projects I think were presented quite well.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think I've done a number of these and chaired a few of them, and often you'll find that the photography is lacking, or the graphic rendering of plans and sections is not there. But I think we found, with some exceptions, I mean, we found that the projects were very legible. I would say photography is the number one thing that if you feel like you're trying to chase an award, I would say that's the number one thing. And I think the written description of a project must be edited and must be super clear and has to hit any point that you feel is the strength of your scheme. Has to be right in the first paragraph. Really easy to find.
Okay. Our audience has been silent here for questioning. I was hoping that we would get some good questions from the audience, but I think any other comments in summary about our projects here? I feel maybe we summarized it pretty well.
Yeah, I would like to just commend the community there for the number of submissions. This was not the deliberation, and I want to recognize Chris and Wendell and the team at Dallas AIA for making it a really fun deliberation process. But I would say that when we received the submissions initially, I was quite impressed with the number of submissions and the quality of the submissions. And I would say that, just to clarify, for anyone who did not get an award here, that does not mean that the work is not of a high caliber or quality, and everybody in this everybody who submitted a project, and I'm sure there are projects out there that weren't submitted, but I think everybody deserves a commendation for the quality of the work and the kind of sheer force that it takes, like we know, to get these things built. So congratulations to everyone on that front.
Yeah, and I would just, I think it takes a lot to pull these things off digitally. I wish, I hope next year we're able to celebrate these things in the traditional way, but we do what we can now. And so I would have loved to have come to Dallas, which was when we initially got the invitation. That was an immediate yes. I love visiting Texas and Dallas, and so actually I think I've done more AI juries in Texas than anywhere else. So, but next year I hope we can that y'all can be celebrating in person again with your colleagues and with the jury, and I'm sure we will.
Great. Well, we want to thank you both for your participation today, and I wanted to maybe give some extended thanks. We're still waiting for our People's Choice results to come in. So while we're waiting on the images there, I wanted just to do some extended, oh, we're ready. Sorry, we're ready to go now. So the People's Choice, and we'll have some images here, result is in. It's the Tala House by M. Gooden Design. So congratulations. Are there additional images? So, okay, that's the single image. Do you have any comments on this project? Either Wendell or Gabriel?
Yeah, I think we did actually spend a good bit of time on this project, and there were lots of great things about it. I cannot remember the specific deliberations about it because, as I said, there were lots of projects that we talked about, but we want to congratulate them for that recognition, and along with the others tonight.
Great. So in conclusion, as I said, I wanted to thank Wendell Burnett and Gabriel Smith for their participation in this celebration of these design awards. I also wanted to thank the members of the design committee, Kay Lee, chair, and Randall Daniel, vice chair. They were joined by committee members Jared Brown, Santos Kaltalan, Robert Croisdale, Matthew Crummy, Corey Deere, Michael Freibel, Katarina Gates, Michael Kaiser, Ravi Maniktala, Mark McCollum, Ricardo Munoz, Ryan Rutger, Francisco Ibarra, and Thomas Wynn. And also thanks to Jessica Bolt, the communications coordinator for AIA Dallas, who pulled all of this off miraculously. I want to thank all those that submitted projects, and certainly congratulations to the architects and the team, including consultants and contractors that built these awards. And thanks to all of the Zoom participants in this design award presentation. I think we had approximately 130 viewers watching this presentation tonight. And so with that, I guess that concludes this presentation. Congratulations for the great work.
Hi.
Thank you guys again.
No, thank you.
Hey, we
That was pretty tight.
yeah, I know, it was like,
Exactly 1 hour. I'm actually impressed.
we had 5 minutes to spare, I think. I was
That
hoping
never
to get
happens.
some more questions from the audience, but they were pretty silent, even though there were lots of.
That's what I think some people they might not have understood, and so I know built or unbuilt in May, we also had a city. They were a little bit more talkative, but they were also serious.
Yeah.
So I think it's just maybe the audience and virtual. Katie, do you have any? I want to talk to you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys again for being here.
Well, thank you for the invitation. It was fun.
Yep.
It was a delight being able to meet all of you virtually. Hopefully the next time it'll be.
Absolutely. I want to echo what Wendell said. Next round has got to be in person.
Yeah. I think we're all very over these virtual events.
Yeah. But it was fun nonetheless, and I'm sorry Chris couldn't join us because it would have been great to have her tonight as well for her place. But I think she certainly was there full on in the deliberation. So and just again thanks for the tight organization, and it was a pleasure.
Yes.
It's been an event.
So you saw my face, right?
All right, guys.
Take a deep breath, Jessica.
Good to see you again, Gabriel.
You too, Wendell.
Bye-bye.
Rebecca, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys. Great job. Good night.
Bye.